How's it going, Ben?
This will be the start of the video. I'm trying to formulate the start of the video, but by you asking me that, we've already started.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Good. That's good.
Here at your Bristol facility,
Yeah.
2 rooms. Is this kind of design space?
Yeah. Design, admin, you know, everything space, testing space, accounting
Listening.
space.
Yeah.
A quick bit of background would be nice.
Cool.
Yeah. You were doing some interesting work while you were studying, right?
Yes.
Fixing high-end audio gear and...
Yeah, kind of. So we met at university, Jamie and I, and I'd kind of been... Future Sound Systems was kind of like a label that I'd put some modules out through kind of going into university, out of 6th form. Learning stuff through like GCSE electronics and then taking that, putting it on a circuit board, putting it into some kind of modular environment and then saying, oh look, it's a little sequencer or whatever. Okay. So throughout studying, part of our course was like a kind of basic analog electronics module, so learning how to use op amps, and you know, that kind of gave me more of a understanding, well, I guess gave us both more of an understanding of how to actually use, you know, electronic components to do a certain thing in audio. And then we kind of ended up at the same place on placement, kind of, yeah, just went through final year and then got to the end of it. I came out and then took Future Sound Systems full time, doing bits and pieces all over the place, repairs, servicing. The Moog Sound Lab was part of that.
How did the Moog Sound Lab thing come about? Because you are like the UK guy for that.
Yeah, that was through the university. So Tony Myatt, who is now the head of department, I think, at the University of Surrey, he pretty much approached me just before graduation and said, look, you know, we know that you do all this synth stuff. How do you feel being like in-house engineer for this Moog project? And it was like, yeah, great, okay. And 6 months went by, heard nothing, thought, oh, it's dead. And then pretty much as soon as I decided upon that, got a flurry of emails, come in, we need you, you know, could you spec all these flight cases up? And that's been rolling since, I think February 2015, I think. We graduated in 2014, right? Did we?
I don't know.
I think it's 2015. So it's been about 4 years. And kind of comes and goes in waves as to like, you know, who we can get in and whether we're putting records out or whatever. But that's like Paul Smith of Blast First. That's like his kind of brainchild, and was brought in as an engineer, and then that as that kind of quietened down, you know, you start getting back on the design horse and all that. I mean, the Gristallizer came through kind of through Paul as well, because he was managing Chris at the time, and then really, I guess once that was released, that's kind of where we started talking, wasn't it? Because it was just a case of like, we've got all these pre-orders, like I can get through them, but it's, you know, I'm doing 12-hour days. Yeah, it's intense, you know. You wanted something a bit more interesting to do, didn't you? I think it kind of got to a point where you wanted to look into design and stuff. And so it's been the two of us since September last year officially, and kind of a few months before that. So
I think Super Booth last year was when me and you met, Jamie. And kind of you could see the kind of company coming together at that point. I mean, up to this point, you say you jumped to the Gristallizer. There has been a range of modules before that. Yeah. So stuff. A lot of that stuff was kind of again messing about at university. That was like the Spectre Devastator that came through. I think on the second year, I was just messing around with breadboard, and there was this hilarious moment where it's like turned everything on, and you got this massive like growling, squealing thing out of it, and waking up all the neighbours, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, a lot of that stuff was like kind of through quiet bits of uni, and I think the convulsion generator came through in first year as well.
And then just carrying through bits and pieces like that. You know, I need a mixer, I'll design one. Like I'm not going to go and buy one because it's easy to do. Same with like the Vactrol gates, the little poker thing. Yeah, and just doing things like that. Seeing, you know, I need this in my rig. I'm just going to go and design it because that seems like a sensible thing to do. You know, and it's, whether it is or isn't.
Well, it's like the simplest way of doing the thing you want to do as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of. I think that's kind of a overarching theme, isn't it? It's like either exploiting something that really has like a strong sound character, or doing something really simply.
Yeah.
Which is
quickest path from A to B. What just makes more sense electronically. To get there.
With little convolution, not in the.
Yeah.
But you've come out of, well, I say out of as if it doesn't exist, but you've branched out of Modular into the Brunswick.
Yes.
Which is it's really nice to see. I think a flavour of future sound systems and some of the ideas from Modular in that kind of little format. What made you come out of the Modular format?
Well, that was
the thinking.
The Brunswick was a funny thing because we were asked by Beef, who are an organisation. Well, they used to just be down the road. Bristol Experimental Expanded Film. They're a collective of like film artists, and they run events and things like that. And they said to me like, "Oh, do you want to do like a synth DIY workshop?" And I'm like, yeah, sure. And done like one before down at Halton House. And that was like a little kind of, you know, 4000 series Logic square wave oscillator thing that makes a load of noise, and it's like, it's not really a synth. If we're going to do this, I think I actually want to make a synth voice, and I want to do it for, you know, as little money as possible. So the first like revision of it is a little bit simpler than what's available now at Thonk and all that, but that's what we did the workshop around, and people went away with a you know, synth. They could plug it into a CV keyboard or sequencer or whatever, and you know, you got a little bass synth there, great, fantastic. And that was really the kind of fuel for that, was saying like, well, can I do something that's standalone? And you know, spent a few evenings again on breadboard just saying like, well, if we're going to do this for as little money as possible, we need to make it as simple as possible, and really going like super limited component count. I mean, there is definitely a flavour of that. You know, there's like, you'll open the filter and the pitch will waver slightly a little bit, but you know, that's kind of in saying, well, like if we wanted to, you know, add another op amp package, like for the cost we could have done it, but for the board space probably couldn't have. So you know, you
you can make it bigger and double the price, but then it's not the same product.
Exactly. So
and it probably wouldn't maybe work in a workshop. I think there's probably a price limit you get to where this makes sense.
So that's kind of where it came from, and then you know, we got in touch with Steve at Thonk about doing kits for it, and he was well up for it, you know, and our new Portland thing is kind of off the back of that. It's just saying like, well, Brunswick did really well. We had a couple of people, Ben down at Elevator, he said, you know, you need to do Drumswick. It's like, okay, that could be neat, and you know, a drum synth would be nice. And then, you know, I think we were kind of looking at like the 808 and the 606, bits of the 909, DR110, and saying like, well, these are all really nice, but it's like, it's the same thing over and over again, and it's like the sounds are all different because you've set like resistor and capacitor values of like twin T's a certain way. Let's just bring all that out to a front panel. Let's, you know, let people actually tweak the stuff and put it in a modular environment. So you know, you've got this. I mean, we've described it as like a sandbox for drums. So you've got all the different elements there to patch up like a kit. You know, kick drum, snare drum, hi hat. You can do like a cowbelly thing at the same time if you want it. You've got all that, but then if you actually wanted to just make one snare with it, you could bring all these elements together and make like this really crazy snare sound and just sample one shots off, you know. And it's been really interesting to just play with that, and you know, the two camps, Modular and this like standalone kit thing, they are feeding each other. Like, you know, there's things from Portland that we'll almost certainly be bringing out in modular form. There's probably modular stuff that will feed into, I don't know, you know, other standalone things. So It's interesting. I think again, just being able to like do a standalone thing, for me at least, was like quite an eye opener. I think it's just like, oh, we can actually do this. Great.
Yeah.
And then also it's kind of a little bit of an entry into modular as well. You can start to learn it. There's the financial barrier of entry to getting into modular, having a whole synth voice. Yeah, it's relatively expensive.
Well, it takes away the case as well. That's always the which case do I get, which browser buy.
Yeah. You can just start pretty impulsively.
Yeah. So. And it's funny, when when Brunswick came out, people were saying, you're going to put this in a case. It's like the first thing people were asking, as if it's somehow not safe. Or I was playing with it today, and I like that it doesn't have a case.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I mean, we are doing an enclosure for it, and it does. It's a funny thing because as soon as you put it in an enclosure, it's like, oh, this feels really good. This feels really, really good. Yeah. But there is. I mean, what I like about Portland as well, you have like the Brunswick. I mean, this goes back to kind of the circuit bending stuff that I started out in, right? And you start touching all these circuit elements, and it's like, whoa, this is doing something really weird now, really.
Yeah,
funky.
I think in the video we did back at Simfest, you were licking your finger.
There's a tiny bit of that.
There's a tiny bit of like weird behaviour you can bring in.
Portland
is
mental.
You just pick it up and it just goes, what? It's amazing. It's okay, brilliant. And get people playing at Cafe Otto with like just the backside of one of these, But I don't know. I just kind of wanted to be like, well, if the the real geeky like DIY element of it, you can have that on show. You can put it on your desk and you can say, I built that, But if you also want to, take it out to venue or whatever, the case options that we'll bring out hopefully pretty soon, they'll let you do that.
It was also the fact that a case would have cost like a significant proportion of the cost of the kit, which just felt a bit strange. We were trying to make it as cheap as possible, and then you like £50 for a front panel from Schaefer or whatever. It seems like a bit strange.
Half the kit,
It's half the kit again.
So Brunswick's getting a case. The new Portland, which we'll have a jam around on some of this stuff shortly. Yeah, is that getting a case? That's also going to have a Euro panel.
Yeah, so it's got we've sent off the Euro panel now. I mean, we can do a case for it.
Probably will do a case so it can go next to Brunswick.
Yeah. It just makes sense.
Having them same format, same height, just not like flush against each other. It just makes total sense.
And again, I think it has just been like a case of I mean, Jamie really has kind of headed this up, just saying like, we can do this. It's really easy. And then for me, all these several years of doing this, always being a bit scared of like, oh, it's casing, and just for you to, I think having someone else to just come along and say, no, you can do this. It's
quite curious to find out.
Yeah,
if it'll be nice. Yeah. The magical resource of PCB manufacturing. High precision manufacturing. So cheap and so easy.
So I like this idea that the whole range, I don't know, this all kind of feeding each other. Modular ideas coming into little desktop format stuff, vice versa. And I imagine not just repurposing, if Portland goes in a case, it's kind of like, well, why would you just go, there's the Portland bass drum, or... Which I don't think is in line with what the company does. It isn't we've got a kick drum circuit, so here it is in every format, exactly the same, in every different thing, just to serve that audience. But I like the idea of, like you said, if you just want Portland to be a snare, and you want to layer like a body and a noise and another element, I think that's where this gets really interesting. From an outsider looking into the company, of is there, and this isn't something we spoke about, but is there like the kind of Future Sound Systems ultimate drum voice kind of thing? Like, do you know what I mean? This will be anything if you learn how to patch it. Because you've kind of given them that in Portland. It's kind of like, it's not a drum machine, it's one voice. That is effectively, like we spoke about, taking one shots out of your gear into samplers and whatever else. I really like that, just that raw and open format. And I like it when, with Portland, and I've only heard a little bit of it so far, but there's just raw drum synthesis. I think it's funny when people they spend $2,500 on an 808 and go, doesn't sound like all the records that I'm it doesn't sound like compression and saturation and EQ and production, and none of those drum machines do. So I like it when going a bit further than that, just going, here's just like raw circuits to make drum sounds. I like the work. I like making sound.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that it sounds good on its own.
Yeah.
If you want to shape it.
I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of one of those things where you take you look at the 808 snare and you're like, okay, well, you got like a couple of twin T's and this like noise element. Well, let's just put 2 twin T's in there then, and a noise generator and a
Change
VCA.
the range of all the things a little bit, so you can get that full.
So you can reduce your snare just down to like noise going through a VCA if you want, and then you've got 2 twin T's. You can do toms with those. Okay, you're a bit limited on the mix options, but it's still there. Like if you want a 6-part drum kit, you can do it. It sounds a bit funny, but
Yeah, but you can stretch it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's kind of you look at how those circuits are made up, and you start seeing that it is just like a drastic sound change just from changing like the frequency of the 2 twin T's and how they're beating together, and whether they're like being really driven into like the mix element, or whether like that's really brought back so they're nice and clean. Is the noise hitting the rails? Is that going into a VCA really hot, or is it quite quiet? There's all of that scope to be played around with, hopefully in Portland, so people, it's definitely got a tone to it, but it's hopefully flexible enough and obviously modular, where people can, patch into other stuff and actually really get quite a massive palette of sounds out of it.
One of the big things about both Brunswick and Portland is like the learning aspect as well.
Yes.
So to have something you build it, you literally build it, then you build the sound, and then you have hopefully enough flexibility and a few like on the normaling and the modulation controls on Brunswick that if you are like a more advanced person, you can then take it to some strange new place. But like learning is a huge element of it. That was intentional, and where Portland manual, it's going to be quite a beast to write. To talk about all the drum synthesis techniques and all that stuff as well, because we want to try and not only get you into modular, but get you maybe even into synthesis and aspects of synthesis you might not have known about yet, or
So why is Brunswick called Brunswick, and why is Portland called Portland?
So Brunswick is called Brunswick from the Brunswick Club, where Beef, the experimental film group, were based. And the Brunswick Club is part of Brunswick Square, which is just off of Stokes Croft in Bristol. It's a nice enough square, offices and stuff. But there's a few venues based, there were a few venues based around that place. There was a Brunswick Club, you had the Surrey Vaults between Brunswick Square and Portland Square, and then Cozy's, which is still there, thank God, in Portland Square. So I thought, well, if we've done a Brunswick, we might as well do Portland. And Cozy's is kind of like bass heavy stuff they usually put in there. Hopefully Portland's relatively bass heavy as well. So it seemed like a nice little fitting kind of.
So have you got people out finding nice little areas of Bristol for the next lineup of products?
I don't know where we go now.
Run out of squares.
Have you made this difficult for yourself now?
Yeah, hugely. I don't know. Part of me still wants to do a Turbo Island module that just doesn't make any sense and sets fire to itself like every midnight. But I don't know.
I think like most people watching have no idea what you're on about.
No, it's fine. It's Bristol culture.
Anyone from Bristol will get it.
Yeah. But then if you're not, then come to Bristol. Come to Bristol. Live it. Live the culture, and then you'll find
sit in these squares. They're battery powered. They could sit in these places with the
Get
product.
a mini rig. Another
Bristol product,
Bristolian tech venture, and sit and make acid.
So is this like the move to Berlin, make techno? There must be a move to Bristol.
Move to Bristol, drink cider, get a mini rig, act like a dick. That's pretty much it. I think that's it.